So in everything, foundation is a key, and foundation is very necessary. At this very time, I would like to share I'll just share one video, some 2 pictures, then we'll continue with the rest of the program. Please watch the video carefully, because at the end of the day, I'm going to ask you questions about the video. A series of videos put together, and I'll ask you questions about the video afterwards. So let's watch the video carefully.
Mr. Richmond is having a little technical issues. He will be right back with you.
Sorry for the breakout. My internet is not stable. So, our delegates on board, this is the question. Will you be here tomorrow? It's a question that everybody must answer. Will you go to work and get back home healthy as the morning you left to the office? Or you will leave the house to the office and your family will come and visit you at the hospital instead of you coming back home?
We'll come back home safe and healthy.
So that is the question. That's a good answer. And how can you do that? There are procedures you have to follow. And following that procedures will help you to come back home safely without endangering yourself. Let's look at these pictures. Can you see the picture?
Yes.
In the olden days, things are done without putting safety measures in place. And you can see that these people, to say they are at a height of roughly about 50-story building high or something, looking at those buildings around them. And look at the way comfortable they are, taking their lunch at a height on a stool. And look at the way the waitress are just enjoying the breeze up there. Are they safe?
They're not safe, though.
They are not safe.
Yes, please.
So in this case, what are we looking at? Sorry, I have another picture here I want to let's look at this picture too. This is a worker working on top of a warehouse. And you can see that this worker is without any protection. And even on top of the warehouse, there's no barricade around the edges. So in case this person slips, what do you think will happen?
That's accident. He's gonna lose his.
Hello, anybody answer for me?
Yeah, you would definitely be injured, if not dead.
There'll be he's gonna go through pain and suffering. He's
If
gonna
only he
go through
survives.
loss of quality of life. That is, if he survives.
Okay, so in this instance, as we are all saying that we'll come back home safely, and we are working in such an environment without protecting ourselves, and mistakenly we sleep. Are you sure you are going to go home safely, as you said you are? The answer is no.
No.
So now, how safely are we going to work? Now it has been made mandatory because of some of these things. ILO has made it mandatory that every workplace need to have certain things in place to protect the staff, to protect contractors, to protect subcontractors, and even to protect visitors. That is why our lawmakers have come out with the Work and Safety Act 1974 regulation. And we could see that before the regulation, a whole lot of things were happening. People are getting injured. I mean, people are dying. People are losing parts of their bodies here and there, like we saw in the video. And even I could say that this video was done even in the year, I think the 90s or early 20s. But at the end of the day, look at the mess that is being caused. So how safe are you when you are working? Today's topic is Foundation in Occupational Health, Safety, Security, Sustainability, and Environment. We are going to learn all these things in bulk. And before we end the section by next week, we will understand things very, very well. I wouldn't stress on too many things because my other colleagues will be dealing in those things. I'm much interested in building the foundation, digging the ground and putting some concrete on the floor and putting some hard blocks on the floor with iron rods so that my colleagues will also build upon it. The purpose of this slide is to ensure workers employed to offer a service go back home safely the same way as they came. And the organization must also achieve their aim by eliminating or reducing the risk to acceptable level. You told your family, your wife, your husband, your children, I'm going to work and come. In the middle of the day, they receive a call. Oh, mom or dad, how are you doing? He said, I'm doing good. Can you come to the office right now? We need to see you. Once you receive a call like this, then you know that something has happened. Or you'll be in the office and they'll call you. Oh, mom, where are you? We would like to visit you. We are so and so, and we are at this company, and we want to see you right now. Once you receive a call like that, then you know that things are not going on well. So are you safe? Now, if you are safe and all things are going on well, then now it's up to the organization also to achieve, to have profit, so that by the close of the day, the month ends, they can pay you and you'll be smiling. And the family can enjoy healthy food at the end of the day. And it's also up to the organization to invest in you, the employer, so that you can work safely. And at the end, they will achieve more, so that they can also give you more in return. What did you see in the video that we watched? I need 3 people to tell me what they learned from the video. If you are ready, just unmute yourself and carry on, because we don't have much time.
All right, so I'm Imanolate. I realized that, although I couldn't hear, but then what I was watching, I realized that most of the people were not using the required tool that they needed to use for the work. Some also were not paying attention to certain procedures and processes when they were working with some machines. So it happened that someone had to even slip the hand under a machine and then getting the fingers being cut. So attention towards procedure wasn't there. The use of appropriate tools, like wearing of gloves for certain procedures, weren't observed, because there was one who slipped and then got a cut on the hand. But then if he was wearing the right kind of glove for that particular work, he could have still had a firm grip on the steel without getting the self-cut. The use of the right harness in order to help them withstand the fall was not there. So usage of right to attentiveness to procedure, paying attention to the work that they were doing too. These are the things I realized caused certain hazards at the workplace. And so for my observation, that's what I saw. Thank you.
Thank you. Next one.
Yeah, also, this Mr. Kenneth Okoli, the only place that actually caught my attention was when the forklift driver, he was driving and he wasn't skilled to say. So then an accident occurred and there was a fall. And eventually, I'm sure he must have died in the process. So it is not good for us to work with people who are not skilled to carry out jobs. Then you can see the man that was working from height, he fell because there wasn't enough PPE, enough protective equipment to prevent him from falling. So that's one I also observed. Thank you.
Thank you.
I am picking Odja.
Before you come, please, I want to straighten up some few things here. What Mr. Okoli just said, yes, is very correct. But the issue here is we have procedures, and for all you know, the organization didn't have the right procedures, or even if they have, the workers were cutting corners by not following the procedures. Before you use forklift to carry anybody at a height, what you must use is man basket. We have what we call man basket. So the forklift will fork the man basket, then the staff will stand in it, locked him or herself up, then the forklift can lift you up. But this is the case, the man was standing, just put a pilot on the forklift and instructed the forklift operator to lift him up. And this caused about training. If the forklift operator is trained and knows what he's supposed to do, the right thing to do, you should have told the staff that, my man, this is not the right way of carrying you to the up there. So you need to wait for me to go for the man basket and come back again so that you can be in the man basket and I'll just lift you up wherever you want to go. So that is it. Sometimes the procedures are there, the rules are there, but we try to cut corners and do things in our own way. So we end up getting ourselves injured. So the third person.
Yeah, you have almost said it all. I am Higgins Odja. In that video, I was wondering
The
if the
third
job
person
was
who
planned.
was just about speaking.
Yeah.
Please come on.
Can you hear me? I am Odja Higgins.
Oh, okay.
You've Odja Higgins is my name. Yeah. You've almost summarized it, but from the video, I was like wondering if that job was planned. If it was planned, they should have been able to know the inherent hazard associated with that job. And then the right procedures will be followed. And then how to eliminate those hazards will be there. And quality supervision too was also lacking in that exercise. Because if there is no quality supervision, workers generally are fond of cutting corners. And at the end of the day, the organization will pay dearly for it. Thank you.
Mr. Richmond, are you still on board?
Mr. Richmond will be on board very soon. I think he has an internet issues.
So we can proceed. So as he have started, hope am I audible? Hope I am audible, I mean.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so let's proceed from where he stopped. As he said, the purpose of this course is to help you to have a solid base and on which other courses will be cement. Well, I think he's here. From all your explanation, we can see that safety-minded should be the first and foremost whenever we are about to carry on any activity, in at height or even in the lower basis. Now, here are some principles that we need to take into account. I believe this is where he were. Our carrying out activity should impact not only the well-being of the people involved in, but at the same time have to carry out the well-being of the environment. As you know, we are not the only owner of our planet, neither the only owner of our ecosystem. We are meant to cohabit with our environment that comprises of the flora and the fauna, that animal and the wildlife, including of the vegetation. So therefore, whenever we are about to carry any activity, we need to take into account the environmental aspect, which is one of the key elements that we need to consider. While we are trying to consider human safety, we need to consider environmental safety. Because men have damaging the environment to the point that it has become beyond repair. That's why we are suffering many consequences about earth warming and climate change. So it's part of this program as well. So we also consider the third branch about security. Security is not absence of harm, no. Security goes beyond physical harm. Security also encompasses emotional states. It also encompasses non-visible state. So we're going to see this as well. So let's consider and see how we all can benefit. Our health is first and paramount. He asked you a question that will you like to be there tomorrow or will you be there tomorrow? And most of you answer yes. If there is a saying that you need to be alive to enjoy life, that is, before you can enjoy life, you need to be healthy. our health should be a matter of concern for us, because if you are not healthy, we cannot bring a lot of revenue to our respective organization, neither will we benefit our family. So our health, physical health, should be also a matter of concern for us. So our work-related activity to enable us that to be healthy, that when we take proper care of ourselves. As you can see, this is, well, do not forget, we are still living amidst pandemic. Let this do not escape your mind. We are still amid pandemic. That's why we are having a Zoom or Zoom conferences. So do not forget that protective barriers still have their importance, even if the intensity has been reduced in one country into another, but still we are still amid pandemic. So we need to take into account that we want to protect ourselves from contaminating people as well as contaminating ourselves. The safety issue will continue to be a matter of concern as well. You know, because of a demographic expansion, many people are using the same route. Sadly, in Africa, most of our roads are built without a long-term vision. That we don't think ahead of 50 years ahead, 40 years ahead. We think in terms of 5 years ahead. And 5 years is most of the term of all those people that aspire to rule as a country leader. They think in terms of a term, presidential term. So any activity they do, always focus on that. So we have the same route that we all need to share. You can see from the slide here. When we want to use our roads, we are not the only one. So we need to be safe by not compromising our, jeopardizing our life and jeopardize the life of other users as well. So these are the principles that we'll continue talking about it often and on. Yeah, the aspect that is really important, I mentioned before, the environmental aspect. For those of us who are living in West Africa, some of us are experiencing heavy floods, and it really pity. You know, it is innocent people that always carry out the penalties, simply because man have dominated the earth in each injury. But time and again, all of us have realized our mistake, or the mistake of our greediness because of economic growth. The environment has become poor. Now, our action is to bring a remedy. That's why we talk about environment. And here and then we have many associations that promote environmental living, and we have many standards about environment. You want to pay careful attention also by using the best practices. Right practices require that we try to recycle, or we try to manage well what we have, instead to throw them away anyhow, or make them become a refuse, right? So these are part of our program also. And finally, we want to leave our ecosystem so that at the end of the day, we can say that the planet belongs to us as well as it belongs to them. So as Richmond is trying to come in, let me welcome him, and he will continue properly. He was saying something about ILO, about the structural organization of workplace. So Mr. Richmond, if you are around, you can continue from where I stop, or if you like, continue. So whenever we are working, we should know that we have some organizational procedure that we all are under obligation to abide. Now, our organization also have the duty to profile a good workplace to us according to international standard. Now, according to international standard, as he was mentioning, ILO has stipulated what to be met before we qualify an activity as a work. Then, by extension, we have a rule and regulation that govern all type of work we are engaging. What is required from you is to know the procedure, or to know the regulation about your work activity, because this is the barometer on which you're gonna be judged if you are an effective worker or non-effective worker. If you want to be a productive worker, you need to know your rights. And one way to know your right to be familiar with your work procedure so as to protect yourself and protect people working around you. Now, when it comes to such matter, we have a elaborated. Yes, please. Can you continue? Are you ready to continue?
Yeah, you have to co-host me, or you
I'm sorry.
you share the screen for me. I don't know.
Yeah. Let me co-host you, please.
No, you co-host me because I have other things to share.
Yeah, you see what I mean. Let me co-host you.
Yes. Make me a co-host.
Yes, please. You can share your screen. Let me bring down my screen so you continue. So you are free. You need some help, please? Please, do you need some help? Oh, he's out. Or he's out. Probably his network is really non-strong. Can you proceed, please? Kindly unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry for the inconveniences. My network is really disturbing me. Yes. So, Mr. Leon.
Yes, please.
Okay, let me share the screen, please. Sorry for the inconvenience. Once again. Yeah, so we are talking about sustainability. We are looking at a stage where now we are in an era where we all agree that the weather is really whipping us. Even the rain pattern has even changed. And the way that the sun is scorching is unbearable. I remember Madam Els was telling us, I think last week or last 2 weeks, that the temperature within the area was around 35 to 40 or something, which is very high. And it's all because of the way we are treating the environment. We are using vehicles with polluted fumes. We are burning things anyhow. We are not taking care of our buildings, our workplaces, and our offices are just being engulfed in fire and a whole lot. So at the end of the day, you see smoke everywhere. And we are just polluting the environment. We'll be walking on the street, we'll buy Coke, we'll buy biscuits, we'll buy scratch card, we'll buy toffee, candy, whatever. And at the end of the day, wherever we finish using this particular product, we throw the paper away or the rubber away without putting it in the dustbin. We put it on the street, we put it in the gutters, And even what we have experienced is when it is raining, that is the time we decide to throw our rubbish away. So we just put our rubbish into the rain, and the rain will carry it everywhere it has to. So our habit, our attitude is not helping the environment. It's causing the environment too much harm. When we talk about health, what are we talking about? Are we talking about COVID-19? Are we talking about AIDS? Are we talking about diabetes? Are we talking about stomachache or headache? In health and safety, when we refer to health, we are not talking about physical things that we normally experience, like headache, like COVID, like AIDS, like diabetes, and so forth. But we are looking at the situation whereby even I don't have money in my pocket to buy breakfast, and I have to go to work and perform, how do you call it, a tedious activity in the morning or in the day with an empty stomach. In that case, you could see that this person will come to the office, but this person is disturbed. This person doesn't have a mental stable-minded, it's not a stable-minded person to take that daily activity. On that sense, health and safety is telling you that that person is sick, mentally sick. Maybe you left the office, you left the house, and before you were leaving the house, you had a grudge with your partner before leaving the house. So you came to the office with a moody face, a moody heart, a moody minded. In that case, that kind of interaction that went on in the house will affect your day activity. You cannot perform your activity as you are supposed to perform. In that case, mentally, health-wise, you are not sound, you are not correct. So in health and safety, what we say is, if you have any challenge that affects your mental health, you see, this guy in the video that we watch, this guy who was smoothing the plate was confronted by the supervisor telling him that he's supposed to maybe stop the work and maybe come for the next shift, because the person who is supposed to come to the next shift is not going to be around, which means he's supposed to stay for the next shift. And he became hungry, furious. He removed the gloves, hit it on the table, and started to work without protecting himself. So that is what we are talking about, mental health. And at the end of the day, he made mention that if he took his time to, absorb the message that came without getting furious, without getting hungry, and he did not remove the gloves and he started working, he wouldn't have gotten the hand cut, the fingers cut. So we need to really understand the system well. When you come to the office and you are furious, you are not of a sound mind, you need to take a break. You need to report to your supervisor. You need to report to your manager. Manager, I'm not feeling well. I cannot perform. So I need a break. And we say safety starts from the top. So if the top management understands what we are learning here today, they will give you a break. Instead of pushing you to go to the field and go and get yourself injured and incur more cost for the organization. How much is it going to cost them to give you a break and maybe assign another person to take up the job than pushing you to go and work? And at the end of the day, you get yourself injured, or you get another worker, staff injured. Look at the hospital bills. Instead of giving you maybe 2 or 3 hours break for you to have a rest and come back, now this person will get him or herself injured and will be at the hospital for maybe 1 week, some days, or even sometimes a whole month. This person will be absent from the work. So this person getting a break of 1 month, 1 week, and another person getting a break for 2 hours. Which one will you go for? I'll go for the person who will go for a break for 2 or 3 hours than to go for a person who gets him or herself injured and go for a break for 1 week or 1 month. When we talk about safety, this is the case where now phone has become part of us. Initially, we were not used to phones. And you attest with me that not even the youth of today, but phone users of today have been addicted with phones so much that they will be walking on the street and you find them using the phone instead of fixing their eyes on the road. Their eyes are fixed on the road and they have earpiece on their head and they cannot even hear the sound of a horn of a vehicle or of a motor that is coming, bike. So when we are talking about safety, then this is what we are talking about. How safe are you when you are using the road? How safe are you when you are driving? When you drive, don't use the mobile phone. Don't text, don't WhatsApp, don't call. I see a lot of people, 10 drivers, out of 10 drivers, you see 7 drivers using the phone. Either the person will be using one hand on the call or the person will be texting. Even the worst part of it is this boat and how do you call it? Uber. They'll be driving and they will be trying to Google, use this and that. Instead of them to stop and use the phone, they'll be driving and they'll be using the phone at the same time. So how safe are you? You'll be walking with your children and you, the adult, will be walking in front and your child will be walking behind you. How safe are you and how safe is the child? You go to the shopping mall and you leave your child to be walking around there and you'll be doing your own thing. And was it this morning or yesterday, I heard on the news that Boko Haram in Nigeria have kidnapped 2, how do you call it, Roman fathers, and they have put a lump sum of money on their head. I mean, they mentioned some dollars, which is abnormal. So how safe are you? You are in your car and you leave your luggage unattended, exposed to robbers, hawkers who are just walking by the street, and they hit your window and they pick your belongings along. How safe are you? We are talking about safety here. And we are talking about security, because safety and security goes alongside. So how safe are you and how secure are you? You come home from the office, you open your door, you enter your room and you don't lock your door back. You leave your door open. Anybody can just sneak in and hide somewhere. And at the end of the day, this person can attack you at the night. Or this person can just hang on. When you sleep, you just pick whatever you want to pick, open the door back and leave. How secure are you? So we are here to learn about occupational health, safety, security, sustainability, and environment. So this is the foundation that we are building to make sure that we are very good to go. The word work covers the activities that people carry out, specifically in the course of their occupation. The Health and Safety at Work Act 1974 says that work means work as an employee or as self-employed person. We all understand employee, but when we talk about self-employed, what does it really mean? At a point in time, I was an employee, but this time round, I'm a self-employed person because I decided not to work for anybody. So I find my own money and I went to the market to purchase some items, which is safety items. And I started selling safety items. And here I am. I have employees under me working for me. So I'm a self-employed person. What the rule says that, Mr. Leon and Ma'am else, please attend to those who are entering. Normally, they stand at the back of the door for a very long time. Please.
Just focus on your paper. We are monitoring.
Yes, but they can't stand at the back of the door for long. So please attend to them. So self-employed person is somebody who is doing his or her own work. He pays his or herself. And he has other people working under him. And the workplace. A workplace is any place or places where employees or the self-employed are likely to work or have to go in the course of their employment. We have hawkers on the street. That is their workplace. They work on the street. They carry water, go everywhere to serve people. So once they're on the street, that is their workplace. We have people in a confined place. They have walls around their office. Once they enter the four corners of their wall, they are at their workplace. But this is the challenge, which always calls for debate. And we have people debating on this at all times when we have this session. We have different types of school of thought. But today, our book one manual is telling us that as far as you log into your office attendance sheet, you have started to work and you are at the workplace. If it is not break time and you leave the four corners of your office to attend to a shop, let's say you are supposed to go for break at 12 o'clock, and around 10, you feel that you are hungry, so you step out of the office, you go to a shop to buy Coca-Cola or biscuit or whatever it is. Once you step out of the office, health and safety is telling you that you are not at the office or you are not at work. You are on your own. So once you step out and anything happens to you there, don't expect that your employer will pay you or compensate you for going out to buy whatever you want to buy. Because you are supposed to be in the four corners of your wall. If you are on break and you step out to buy anything outside the four corners of your wall, you are still at work because your employer has given you that mandate, that break, for you to free yourself from the hectic work and get yourself relaxed for 50 minutes or 30 minutes or 1 hour and come back refreshed and start work again. So on that note, if anything happens to you as you are out of that premises, you can be compensated. if it is part of your agreement. Another thing too is we have other workers who serves as marketers or courier service personnel, dispatchers. Now, our manual tells us that if you leave the work by 5 or 6 p.m. as you are going home, you carry some items with you. And in the morning, you leave the house to dispatch or deliver those items. Or you leave the house straight to go in for like another person's office to do market or to market your product. Once you have that idea and you are living in the name of the organization to perform a duty for your organization, although you have not been in the office to sign your attendance sheet, but once you are on assignment for the organization, you are at work. So let us understand these differences when we talk about workplace. Now, what is the next step for you to take when we
Richmond,
talk
can we
about
ask questions?
and safety?
Hello, Richmond. Can we ask questions or when you finish?
Yes, yes, you can ask question. Oh, yes, you can ask question. But all the same, like you can bring your question, no problem.
Okay. I am a little concerned about the workplace you defined, especially as now or lately we have non-standard forms of employment for which the rules of the four corners of the offices matter but are changing. So how would you explain that? For example, some work do not form or fall under the normal 8 to 5 kind of thing, or even in that space called an office space, and it's still recognized as work. I think that the protocols are changing, but I'm not too sure of how applicable it is to us, especially as we have many examples of things that can happen. There's this very familiar case, and I think the worker got compensated for in some ways after it went to court. Here was this person who was sent an assignment, and rightly so, you made that assertion. But at night, he saw the services of a prostitute, and in the process, he died. So the office or his workplace was so sure that it was not part of what he was asked to do. But later on, he got compensated for because they said it was work-related. Whatever he did within that time of assignment was considered as work, like you said, to a large extent. So I think we will need a very clear direction on those forms of non-standard forms of employment, and also new protocols that are coming in. I use one safety at work one, like violence and harassment. For the C190, violence and harassment, it doesn't matter whether you're even commuting from work or not. Once you are in the process, you must adhere to the violence and harassment protocols. It does not know any boundaries for now. So that's it's also a comment and an inquiry on what ought to be done. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, like you rightly said, things are changing, but until it is confirmed and approved, we are still holding on to what we already have. So we are just waiting for those things to be approved and to be mandated as an act or as a law for all of us to go by. So like you rightly said, we have cases where I'll be leaving the office with my own vehicle. I said office. I'll be leaving the house with my own vehicle to come to the office. And in the process, I had an accident without getting to the office. The question is, am I at work or not? You see, so in that case, is the work going to, my employer is going to, let's say, compensate me, or am I going to attend the hospital, how do you call it? We have some organizations that have specific hospitals that workers attend. So in that case, if I'm injured in the process of the accident, am I going to attend the hospital, the organization's hospital, or I have to attend my own hospital because I'm not at work and I got injured and it's not work related? So all these things are issues that is coming up. Like I showed the video and the pictures earlier on. Gradually, almost day in and day out, things are changing. We are revising things. So let's see how it goes. But currently, per the law, if you are using your own vehicle and the company has a staff bus and you don't join the staff bus and use your own vehicle, and anything happens to you whilst you have not gotten to the office has no say or the office has no hands in whatever you have gotten into, unless on humanitarian grounds they want to help or come into your situation and give a helping hand. And mostly some of these things happens depending on personal issues. We have some people who do not perform in the office, and we have people who perform 100+1. So on that basis, if you are a person who does not perform, who is very lazy and other things, the organization will feel very reluctant to come to your aid. But if you are somebody who works 100+1, the organization cannot afford to lose you. So they will do whatever they can to come to your aid and, rescue you from wherever you are. So this is what we are talking about. We must also, give up our best to the organization so that in times of need, they can also come to our aid and support us. And we have the case where you are being committed by the staff bus and you have not gotten to the office and you get yourself involved in an accident or whatever. Once you are in the staff bus, you are secured. And the company's compensation covers you whilst you are in the staff bus. So that is the differences we are trying to communicate. In my organization, about 6 or 7 years ago, we have a situation where a staff was coming and he was involved in an accident. The organization refused to pay compensation to the guy. The guy was demanding maybe half of the cost of repairs of his vehicle because it's a third party. So insurance did not pay for the repairs of the vehicle. So this guy was demanding for the organization to repair the vehicle or even pay half, but the organization declined. So this is what we are talking about. If we are okay with it, I'll continue. So let's look at hazard. Normally, I like to put some of these things in my own words. Hazards is anything that has the potential to cause harm to you. Putting it in a very simple way, causing injury to your body, even to the extent of putting you in your grave, causing damage to the environment, causing damage to property, and many more. So wherever you are now, whether you are in your office, in your vehicle, in your house, wherever you are now listening to me, everything around you is a hazard. Even the laptop you are using, the PC you are using, the phone you are using, the earpiece you are using, the chair you are sitting on, the table, the lighting system, the ventilation around you, everything around you is a hazard. So if I'm defining hazard to you, then that is the simple way I'm going to put it for you to really understand it. Somebody will ask, why is my chair a hazard? If you are in the office, you left the house, you left the office to your house. In the morning when you came, did you take the time to inspect your chair, whether your chair was in good condition before sitting on? You did not. For all you know, the cleaner who cleaned your office in the morning caused your chair to fall. And in the process, the chair has lost its stability. You did not examine the chair. You just, Brian, sit on the chair. In that sense, the chair can just break. And if it is a wooden chair and it is not a silver chair and it's a wooden chair, the broken portion can just injure you. It can enter into your lungs, it can enter into your waist, it can enter into your leg, it can enter into your hand, it can enter into any part of your body and get you injured. If you are sitting on a silver chair, and let's say somebody who is weighing higher than you sits on the chair and gets the middle of the chair broken, and you don't know, you have not examined the chair, you just get into your office, just draw the chair and sit on it. What do you think will happen? The absorber in the middle will just pierce into your somewhere. And at the end of the day, your intestines will come up. We have doctors on board, so they can attest with me and they can explain further. All your intestines will just drop like that. So wherever you find yourself, there are hazards around you. So when you enter your office, you have to take your time to just a few minutes, do a risk assessment. Assess your chair, assess your table, assess your windows, assess your environment, and make sure you are safe before you start to work. We have a lot of workers who just enters the office, they close windows, close doors, and they on the AC. It's a very bad habit. In that case, that AC there is a very big hazard for you. Because when you close all the doors, all the windows, and you on the AC, the very first 30 seconds or 1 minute, the fumes that comes out from the AC is not good for human consumption. So in that case, you are just killing yourself slowly. You end up going home or going on retirement with cancer. So it is advised that when you come to the office, you on the AC, you leave the room for some minutes, just allow the room to chill up, then you come back again. We leave our cars in the sand with all the glasses fully rolled up, and the heat is accumulated in the car, we just come, we open the door, we enter the car, we close the door, fixing the key, start the key on the AC, and we start to drive. All these habits are hazards, and we are killing ourselves slowly. When we enter your car, it is advised that you roll up all the 4 glasses, allow fresh air to enter the car, circulate through, and drive away all the bad odor, all the bad air, that's the carbon dioxide air that was accumulated in the car, filled with the oxygen, the new air system. On the air condition for some minutes, allow it to start chilling up, cooling up, before you roll the glass up. So we do a lot of things unknowingly, and these things ends up, giving us diseases, sicknesses at the end of our retirement. So everything we find around us is a hazard. Now let's talk about risk. I was saying that when you are in your car and you roll up the glass and you sit in it without rolling down and you on the air condition, you end up getting, how do you call it? Oh, praise the Lord. You end up getting cancer. So now, the end or the medium result of the hazard of you sitting in your car continuously without rolling down, allowing fresh air into your car before using the air condition. The end result is the cancer. And that cancer, how is it going to affect you? Is it going to affect just your body? Is it going to affect your lungs? Is it going to affect your kidney? Is it going to affect your head? Is it going to affect your leg? Which part of your body that cancer is going to affect? So wherever the cancer is going to affect, that is the risk level we are talking about. Let me come back to the explanation I gave in the office. The cleaner tampered with your chair, and the chair has 4 legs, and one of the legs became weak. You sat on it, it got broken, and it pierced into a part of your body. Now, I will need an answer to this. If the chair pierced into your leg, and the leg of the chair pierced into your side, let's say your waist side, into your stomach, these 2 injury, which one is more serious? I need an answer. Which one is more serious? Hello?
The one that appears into your intestine.
Of course, the stomach is more serious.
Please,
Okay.
if you want to answer, raise up your hand. Please, if you want to answer, you raise up your hand. You will be called and you answer, right? Thanks. You raise up your hand.
Okay, that is good. So now, majority of the people are saying that the one that pierces into your stomach or your waist side is more dangerous. So in that case, we have 3 levels. When we are talking about risk, we have 3 levels. We have low, we have medium, and we have high risk. So in that case, when we are trying to define what risk is, you have to define the risk by these levels. Is the risk low, or is the risk medium, or is the risk high? When you are able to define this and the outcome is that the risk is high, then you have to put measures in place to reduce that risk from high to medium and from medium to low. Once the risk is low, then it's acceptable to go by it. But if the risk level is in the position of medium, it is not acceptable. If the position of the risk is on high level, it is not acceptable until it comes to low risk. That is why on the hierarchy of control, we have elimination, we have substitution, we have administration, we have engineering, and we have PPE. So putting the controls in place, my other colleagues will be explaining the hierarchy of control. So I will not bother myself to explain these things that I made mention. That's the elimination, substitution, and all those. I will not worry my head with that. So whatever circumstances you go in, you should assess the risk and know the level and bring the level to the very lowest one. When you are able to bring the risk to the very least, that is the lower one, that is where you could say that the risk has been really, really controlled. Now, when we look at the severity is the impact. Where did the chair injured you? Was it your hand, your leg, or your waist, or your stomach? When I'm referring to the waist, I'm referring to the very dangerous parts. Somebody said intestine, so let me use that. If the chair injured your hand, at the end of the day, we say it's a low, because if it's part of your fingers, we can just amputate it, and at the end of the day, you can leave. Like we saw in the video, a whole hand was amputated, but the person is still living and working. But if the part of the chair enters into your stomach, then it's a very high risk. That is the severity of the injury. It's a very high risk. So the consequence is, will you be able to work at the end of you getting back to your health? That is why the video was asking, will you be here tomorrow? Whatever injury you go through, after you survive that injury, will you be able to work again? That is the consequence, or that will bring you the consequences of your action. If the severity of your injury is such that you could not come back to work again, then it means you are doomed. Sources of illness. We have different sources of illness. I've already made mention of some as I was trying to give an in-depth definition or explanation to hazard. I was saying that staying in an air-conditioned room that has just been operated will at the end of the day give you a cancer. So that is a source of illness. People who are working as painters, inhaling the fumes of the paint, inhaling the fumes of the thinner, the hardener, and all those chemicals. They are just harboring illnesses in them, which at the end of their retirement will just explode like that. And we have three main, how do we call it? Let me use the word severity. At a point in time, when we get in contact with these chemicals, sometimes immediately it will just have a reaction on us. You can see it easily. You have effect, you have, how do we call it? I mean, you have a reaction that will tell you that you have come in contact with a chemical. At a point in time, it will not be that rapid. It will take some months or sometimes even a year before you can see the reaction. And the third one is when you go on retirement. But at the end of the day, it all depends on the quantum of the chemicals that has entered into you. That will determine whether the reaction is going to be fast, medium, or at your retirement age. So whatever the case, you have a consequences as a reward at the end of your action. Chemicals such as dust and gases, physical chemicals or physical actions such as noise and heat. Noise affects our eardrums. And my colleague who will be dealing in book 9 will explain further, will explain more, and we'll talk about noise. But let me just say this. How do we know that where we are is noisy, or the noise within that environment is not conducive for our hearing? We don't need to go for the meter to test. But at the moment you are talking on top of your voice, your normal voice, then you know that that environment you are in is not conducive for you, it's noisy. So you need to protect yourself, or you need to leave that environment. We are talking about heat. We are in an era where the temperature is so high that even you'll be in an air conditioning and you'll be sweating. If you're in air conditioning and you are sweating, please, it's better you open some windows to get some fresh air from the outside. Because today we are learning that heat is not good for us. Sometimes we find ourselves in a room where the occupants are supposed to be 5, but we'll adjust and put 10 people in that room. So in that process, you see that you'll be there and you'll be suffocating. You'll be sweating. Somebody will say sweating like a pregnant fish. And I've not seen a pregnant fish who is sweating before, but that is what people say. Because the fish is already in water and the fish is sweating. So once you are at a place where you are sweating abnormally, know that the temperature in that environment is not conducive for you to be in. So you need to do something for yourself. Either you leave the environment or you allow more air to enter that vicinity. Ergonomic. Ergonomic gives us too much stress. Stress that we cannot contain. Sometimes we can contain the stress, but it ends up with illnesses. We have people who sleep, and when they wake up in the morning, it's as if they have worked throughout the night instead of having a very good rest and waking up very healthy. What is the problem here? They wake up in the morning, they visit the hospital, and they tell the doctor, I have body pains, my waist, my neck, my this, my that, my that. The doctor will give some painkillers, and this person will swallow the painkillers, go to work, come back again in the evening, sleep on the same bed, wake up the next day, the same. The simple remedy is change the mattress you are sleeping on. Everything that have been created by humans have expiring date. Even God created things have expiring date. That is why humans will die. That is why trees fell. That is why leaves withers and fresh one comes, and the whole lot. So everything has expiry date. The mattress you are sleeping on has expired. So you need to change your mattress, buy a new one, and start sleeping on it, and you feel comfort, and all the body pains will just go away, just like that. Your setup in your office, the distances between your table and your chair, how you have adjusted your screen, your PC or your laptop screen, how you have adjusted the brightness of the screen, the mobile phone you are using, how you have adjusted the screen, the brightness. All these things gives you ergonomical issues. You feel pains on your neck, sometimes at your chest because of your sitting posture. You feel pains at your waist, at your legs, because your seat is too high. When you sit on the seat, you cannot put your feet on the floor. So you end up receiving trauma because all your blood has been, how do you call it? Your blood has been compounded in your legs or in your feet, and they are not able to circulate through the body. So you feel like your legs have been just tightened up. You need to adjust your seat, bring it down so that you can step on the feet. At a point in time, you need to just wake up or stand up from your seat, just walk around in your office for just some few minutes, allow the blood to circulate well, freshen up yourself, and come back on your seat again. That was why Ma'am Els yesterday, those who joined the class, you recall that Ma'am Els said that don't sit for long because we have the class, it's I think 2 hours class, and you don't need to sit for long. As I'm sitting here, at a point in time, I just straighten my legs, just change my posture, just to refresh my body and get the blood circulating, moving. Just get yourself some water or some Coke or something, just refresh the body up. All these things are ergonomical issues that put stress on the body if you don't manage it well. Biological, such as tetanus and so forth. Some people are born with diseases. Some are born with eye problem, ear problem, and so forth here and there. These things are biological, and sometimes they are manageable, sometimes they are not manageable. Sometimes they are able to sometimes they're able to cure completely from their system. But whatever the case, we are saying that occupational health hazards are preventable, and we shouldn't accept it as it is. So how can work affect your safety? Every year, hundreds of people in the UK lose their lives because of the activities at work, and thousands more suffer injuries of some kind. Yet accidents can be prevented. Indeed, the aim of the law is to prevent, not to react after the accident has happened. In Africa, all we know is let it happen, then we'll take action, because we are looking for our 50%, our 30% cut. Health and safety is saying that prevent it from happening. Prevent it from happening. So no matter what, it will take you to prevent that accident from happening. Don't allow it to happen. And you say, had I known? And had I known is always at last. To be successful in preventing accidents in your own workplace, you need to understand the most and the underlying causes. The underlying causes. First of all, however, it is worth taking a quick look at what exactly an accident is. So what is an accident? The outcome of an accident could be one or several of the following. We have three types before I come to this. We have three types of accidents. We have the near miss, we have the incident, and we have the real accident. The near miss is where something is falling. You saw it earlier and you were able to just grab it. So that thing did not fall. We call it near miss. So that is where you say, ah, this thing nearly fell. If I had not catch it, it would have been a disaster. That is a near miss. And incident is where the thing fell. But as the thing fell, nothing happened to that thing. Let's say a glass of water on your table fell. Fine. As it fell, the water poured on the floor. You cleaned it up, but you were able to pick the glass and the glass was not broken. As the glass was not broken, it's an incident because the glass was able to fall. There was a spillage of water. No one slipped on that water because you cleaned that water immediately. You took the glass and the glass was not broken. So it is an incident. The thing has happened. Not that it did not happen, it happened. But it caused no injury, it caused no harm to the environment, and it caused no harm to the property, that is the glass. So accident is defined where the glass was broken. So after the accident, you were not able to pick, the grass to use it again. On that case, you have an accident. After the glass was broken, you were pissed off so much that after picking the glass, you forgot to clean up the mess. And one of the workers just slipped. After this person slipped, let's assume the person did not get his or herself injured. Thanks be to God. But at the end of the day, somebody has slipped on the water. So it's an accident. But the risk level is that that person did not get injured. Now, let me give another scenario. This person fell. And as the person was landing, the person landed with the hand and got the hand broken. So the risk level is high because the person's hand is broken. So when we are talking about accidents, then we are looking at these scenarios. So the outcome of an accident could be one or several of the following that I have explained. Death, personal injury, long-term health problem or loss of property and premises, damage to the environment. So when we are talking about accidents, then this is what we are looking at. No injury or damage to all of these things that I've made mention of. What about this? Oh, I have some pictures, but they are not showing. Sorry. So, causes of accidents. Causes of accidents are unsafe acts. When we talk about unsafe acts, what are we looking at? We are looking at our habits and our attitude as human beings. Our habits and our attitudes. The next one is unsafe conditions. When we talk about unsafe conditions, what are we talking about? We are talking about potholes on our roads, unguided trees that are within our surroundings, the hills. As it is raining, trees are just falling on top of the hills onto our roads. And especially in the night, drivers just run through them. We are in the office and we have cables laid from the end of the wall, cutting across the middle of the office to where our table is. And people who are coming into our office will have to just jump across the cables and so forth. We have boxes placed under electrical sockets and a lot. I can mention a lot of them, which at the end of the day will not end this class. But the most important thing is combination of these both unsafe things, that is the unsafe act and unsafe conditions, is equals to accident. Because who laid that cable? By plugging the socket, your PC cable at the wall, laying that cable in the middle to your table. It's a human being who did it, right? Did management know that the table is going to be in the position of the office? Why didn't the management giving a contract to electrician to maybe dig the floor, lay a conduit pipe, lay the cable through the conduit onto the wall, and at the end of the day, cementing this conduit pipe and making the floor even for users and preventing trips? We are now burdened because we have money. We intend build houses and put tiles around the house, showing that we are millionaires or billionaires. Have we taken the time to make a risk assessment that in case there is fire in that building, what is going to happen? Fire wardens will come to the scene to rescue your properties, but they will get themselves injured because of the wall, the tiles that you have placed on your building. I'm not talking about the floor tiles. I'm talking about, instead of painting our walls, the building, we put tiles on our buildings. Once there is fire and the heat transfer, that is conduction, and conduction takes place, this tiles that is around our buildings is going to serve as a mixers. They are going to break up, explode, and fly all around the place and kill or injure people around. We are using glass windows and glass doors. In case of fire, these glass materials just explodes like that and fly around. So our habits, our attitude, and the condition around, mostly we have unsafe conditions because of our unsafe attitude and our unsafe behavior. Attitude and behaviors brings us unsafe conditions. You are a contractor and we have given you a contract to construct a road for us. We give you $100, you end up paying bribe to the person who gave you the contract. $20. Now you end up with $80. instead of using the $80, you use $30 to buy a limousine.
Okay.
For yourself because you want to feel big. Please mute up yourself, please. So now you are end up with $50 to use. And this $50 cannot buy the material, the equipment to make you do a quality work for us. So you end up doing a shoddy work for us. So our attitude and our behavior ends up with this unsafe condition. So you construct the road instead of the road to last for 10 years, the road will last for 2 years and it will start breaking up because you did not use the right material, the right quantity of material in preparing the road. So our unsafe act and our unsafe condition brings us unsafe. What is the cost of accident and ill health at work? I made mention of this in my speech earlier on, but I'll just highlight it as I'm just bringing my presentation to an end. I said, looking at the severity and the consequences, if somebody who comes to work and mentally is not fit to work, and I give that person 2 or 3 hours to rest, or even a day, okay, go home, go and solve your problem and come back again tomorrow. And I force that person to work, and the person gets him or herself injured, and the person absents himself from work 1 week or 1 month. And at the end of the day, because it's a work-related injury, I have to pay for the person's medical bills and also end up paying compensation for that person. Weighing these two costs, which one will you go in for? And we said we'll go in for the one that you excuse that person to go for a break for a day or for some hours. So when we are talking about the cost of accidents, then that is what we are looking at. We always say that safety is expensive. When we say if safety is expensive, then let's count accidents. We see that accident is more expensive than buying PPEs or than putting the policies and the procedures in place in your organization. Just pay small for consultants to build up your safety for you than your staff getting involved in an accident and you paying hospital bills and compensations to them. Every day or every week, we have some organizations like it is how do you call it? It is a slogan for them. We have some companies, the very moment you mention their name, they have tagged them as a reckless organization because every day or every week they will report an accident or they will report death. So they have tagged them. And we have organizations that the whole year they will not encounter even a near miss. So if you are asked to go and work these two organizations, which one will you choose? The one that records 0 fatality or incident at the end of the year is the one that has invested in health and safety, is the one that has invested so much by preparing the staff, by providing the policy, the procedures, the PPEs, training for the staff, and all those. He has invested so much in them. So by the end of the year, this person does not encounter any incident, any near miss, any accident. So in that case, that organization has recorded a lot of profit. But this organization that refuses to invest in safety, always invest, and this organization always run in loss because he's paying for nurses, he's paying for doctors, he's paying for the staff, and he's paying for compensation, he's paying for law enforcement agencies. So that is the cost of accidents at the workplace. Accidents and ill health at work can have a substantial effect on individuals and the organizations they work for. Lives are lost, people are injured or become ill, money is wasted, machinery is damaged, goods are rejected, and reputations are lost. Cost for you, cost for friends, cost to public hospital. When COVID came, and once you are working from home, your home is your office. So cost of family and friends. When you are injured and you are at the hospital, sometimes you are not being paid. Sometimes you receive half payment. Sometimes you are paid, but you cannot do overtime. So what we say is you receive Sakura pay. On that basis,
Sorry, you mute yourself.
sorry. I was saying that once you are not receiving extra income, or once you are not receiving income because you are at the hospital, you cannot extend financial support to those who rely on you. Your extended beneficiaries, like your mother, your father, your friends who depends on you for survival because you are not working. So that is the cost. That is the cost we are talking about. So thank you. This brings me to the end of my presentation. But before I end completely, I have a question that I always ask. When we talk about safety as beginners, as foundation builders on health and safety, I always have a question that I ask. So let me ask this question before I bring my curtains to an end for questions. When you are practicing safety, it's like you breathing. No human being can stop breathing for a minute or 2 minutes or even 5 minutes. On that basis, you cannot stop doing safety for 1 minute, 2 minutes, or 5 minutes. So safety is a continuous process. Safety should not be a one-time thing when you need it before you do it. It's like you taking your breath. We all understand that when COVID came, a lot of people died because they were not breathing properly and they have to be on oxygen. And even those on oxygen were even finding difficult to even breathe. So at the end of the day, they have to lose their life. So if you should stop doing safety, if you should stop practicing safety, then you should know that your life has ended, or you end your life by stopping to practice safety. Nobody takes water and drinks water, the whole cup of water at once. You sip the water gradually. So once you sip the water gradually, that is the safety you are practicing. Nobody takes food and swallow the whole food at once. You take the food bit by bit. That is the safety you are practicing. Now, let me come to the critical point. When you are talking about safety, whatever we are doing here, we are preparing you for the future. And the future is, at first, you look at everything within your promises and it is normal for you. But I'm assuring you and I'm taxing you that from today, whatever you go through or whatever you are doing, it should not be normal to you. You must always have the second eye. Look beyond the extraordinary. If everybody is looking at the workplace, that, oh, the workplace is safe, you, the safety officer or the safety professional, should be able to come out with something that is unsafe over there. So everything that's, or anything that everybody looks at it as normal should not be normal to you. So on that basis, how can we do that? Look beyond the curtains. Look beyond the curtains. What is at the back of the curtains? What is at the back of the curtains? It's very important. It's very important. So I'm going to ask a question. Mr. Okoli Kenneth, please unmute yourself. Okay, Mr. Felix Obiaba, or how do you mention it? Help me, Mr. Felix. Unmute yourself. Let me ask you a question. Oh, they are all not on board.
Please,
wow.
Please, before you ask your question,
let me ask you a question.
Please, before you ask your
question.
Why?
Are you afraid of my question?
Please, Mr. Richmond, please, for formality's sake, before you ask your question, let me quickly remind each one of us that the time allotted has ended. We are very sorry that this is the exception that validates the rule. We're supposed to go by 17 minutes after 20 for formality's sake. Nevertheless, if you allow me, let me stop the recording. Now, and the second way is that, please, can you ask the general question so that maybe other people might feel inclined to give answer. You can ask a general question. So, having said that, we are going to run up in a few minutes or less a minute. So this is the few reminder I want to pass on you things.
Hello.
Yeah, go on and ask your question, sir.
Yeah, we're with you. Please go on.
Yeah, Mr. Kenneth. Please, are you married? Mr.
Married,
Kenneth.
sir. I'm married, sir.
Yeah, don't unmute yourself, please. Yeah, get your mic open because we are having a discussion.
Okay.
You are married. How many
Yes,
years
sir.
now?
I'm married for almost 4 years now.
Very good, very good. The very first time you saw your wife,
I'm with you.
before you approached her.
Yeah.